You know, there are a lot of words that can describe Peggy Hill. Conceited. Stupid. Murderer? That's the one no one ever talks about. Except me today! Happy Halloween! First things first, I know that Pygmalion is like one of the most reviewed to death episodes of King of the Hill. So, that's why this isn't a review on Pygmalion. This is me pointing out that Peggy murdered Trip Larson, saving Luann from doing so, of course, but still, Peggy murdered Trip Larson and got away with it. Our episode starts with the family at Rattlesnakes. They're looking at the menu, and while Bobby is being Bobby, Peggy hears Luann getting berated by her manager in the restaurant over by the serving station. After Peggy inserts herself into the situation and forces Luann to quit on the spot, she wrangles her into a seminar from said Trip Larson, who sees her in the audience, notices she looks exactly like the Porcelain Lark Products girl. Did I just say Porcelain Lark Products? Larson Pork Products girl, and makes it his mission to obtain her, which he does. Not gonna knock him on that. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's where we veer into Peggy's homicidal turn. Because at first, she was inspired by Trip Larson. Then, once she saw how he immediately started flirting with Luann, she shifted. Not just because she didn't trust Trip, but because Peggy's a conceited, evil human being. Not quite as evil as Nancy, but she is up there. Now, we see that Peggy's moods shift from jubilant to angry or annoyed whenever one of her ideas gets shot down for something better, because she thinks that she is all that in a bag of guapo chips. Anyway, so when Trip realizes this and immediately brushes over her, you see the gears start to turn. But the fun part about this is that Trip knows exactly how to manipulate Peggy here. Because at this point with Luann, he noticed that she is overprotective. So his plan forms. And the more he shows that he has the power, the farther down Peggy spirals. Because she couldn't control anything he did at the interview that Luann went to. He proved that by pulling a huge freaking power move by saying,
"Peggy, why don't you read my autobiography?"
And then walks off with Luann. Again, fucking power move right there. Second, he listened to Luann when talking about Hank, so he knew how to handle Hank.
Hey, do you have the snowman who caught fire at the Vikings game?
I've got 3 different snowmen catching fire.
Which made Peggy even angrier. Which also makes her even angrier further when Hank refuses to see what she sees. All the while, Peggy, and her self-righteous, self-important self, just gets angrier and angrier until we reach the climax scene at the Halloween party at Larson Pork Products, when Luann learns that Trip only wants her so he can turn her into the Larson pork products girl with the rando dude that she had never met before, and then him being the pig. It was weird. It was a really freaking weird episode. An episode that aired 2 years late because the NFL was dumb and always fed into the King of the Hill times. Because Pygmalion is supposed to be for season 5, but it didn't air until season 7. Anyway, after Luann learns about the whole pork triangle that Trip had planned, she freaks out, runs through the Halloween party, and Peggy notices her. Peggy, becoming the maternal woman she is. This is where she has the good qualities. She sees, gets angry about that, which is a different type of angry than murder angry. And Trip comes in, asking where she's at, and now she's got to balance it. The worry for Luann or the murder intent for Trip, which she has a pretty decent response to.
That's for me to know and you to find out. And me to find out too, because I don't know.
Oh my gosh. We all hate Peggy, but we love her one-liners. Anyway, we get to Luann running into the pork processing plant. And when Trip gets to it, he can't seem to get through. Since he can't get tend to open it up, he decides to go around and up and in. Peggy, showing off one of her feats of complete badassery, kicks the goddamn door that Trip couldn't open and opens it with her fucking foot.
I'm here, Luann. I'll take care of everything.
Mind you, I have a video I'm working on just how strong Peggy Hill is, cause shit. Ugh, not the point. Point is that Trip manages to make his way onto a processing conveyor belt where everything is shocked, punctured, and processed. Okay? Trip makes his way onto that line, and before it starts, he falls on it before it's even running. And Luann, who is about to start it, is stopped by Peggy. Because the murderous intent has finally taken over, because her fear for Luann and her anger at Trip are able to finally converge. And Peggy pulls the switch.
Let me do it.
Starting the production line. Trip is rolling, not giving a care in the world. He is having the time of his life until he gets shocked in the head. And it cures the schizophrenia that he had been suffering through the entire episode.
Oh my god. I can suddenly think clearly. The voices have left my head. What am I doing in a pig costume?
Until he looks up.
Uh-oh.
And we never see him again. Now, we know for a fact that he's dead, because 1, we heard the shink, and 2, Peggy straight up said,
Trip had a mental breakdown and is now a sausage.
meaning he went through that entire line and Peggy Hill effectively slaughtered him because she's the one that pulled the lever. Showed zero remorse for it, and they went about their night. We hear nothing about her police report, nothing about the murder or the finding of Trip Larson's body in the processing plant. Like, we could have had an entirely different situation of the Debbie problem from 2 seasons ago. No, last season. Because I think the Debbie shit was in season 4. Not the point. One is they could have gone even deeper into this, but Peggy was never even a suspect. So she effectively got away with murder. Now, we could defend this by saying, oh no, it was just her trying to protect Luann. Then tell me, if she just wanted to protect Luann, then why is it when we get to the Flat Stanley episode, she takes Stanley and Luann back to the same processing plant, same building, same line, same tools, same things that killed Trip, and we see the murder of Trip Larson recreated scene by scene.
Do we really have to worry about children wandering into pork plants and climbing onto the kill line?
Not if I do my job.
In front of Peggy and Luann, while Peggy is smiling at it. It's like if she would have been in an animated version of Smile. But yeah, Peggy Hill is effectively a murderer. She's also a kidnapper of both children and senior citizens. So, I mean, holy shit. I mean, Nancy's a fucking horrible, evil woman because of what she did to Dale all those years. But Peggy's done physically awful things. I think Peggy actually is effectively more awful than Nancy. I love realizing things when I'm making the videos about them. Anyway, that's my Halloween special for this year. Thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. What do you think? Do you think Peggy is an active murderer that we just don't know anything about? Hell, that's a plot line we could go enter and explore in the revival. You know they're not going to, but it would have been awesome. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Also, let me know what you want me to review or talk about next. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Everything the bottom corners tell you to do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bad News Harris out.